I'd been staring at the same page of my notes for what felt like an hour, my mind completely fried from trying to study for finals. It was late, and Emma was out at some party, something about a sorority event. She'd asked me if I wanted to come, but I wasn't in the mood. So, I stayed home and cracked open the textbooks while she went to have fun. Then, I got the notification. Emma had gone live on Instagram. I clicked on the stream, expecting something casual, a selfie, maybe a goofy moment with her friends. But what I saw stopped me cold. There she was, all dressed up in this tight red dress, surrounded by a few of her friends, giggling into the camera. They were rating guys at the party, guys Emma clearly knew. She'd ask her friends, "What do you think of him? 1 to 10? And they'd laugh and throw out numbers, snickering like it was the funniest thing ever. "Dude, like, a solid 5. One of her friends said, pointing at a guy who looked uncomfortable as hell. I watched, my heart sinking, as they did this over and over. Each guy that walked by, or was somehow caught on the screen, got torn down like it was a game to them. Then Emma said it. "Jake? Oh, he's, like, a 6 out of 10, but he's nice, I guess." I froze. She said it so casually, like it was no big deal. I sat there, staring at the screen, a punch in the gut I couldn't shake. I had to do something. I couldn't just sit here and pretend like this didn't matter. I opened my phone, changed my relationship status to single, and left a comment on the live stream. "Guess I'm a 6 then. Thanks for the honesty." The moment I hit send, Emma's face turned pale. She saw it immediately. "Wait, what?" she said, her voice cracking slightly. She glanced at her phone, her eyes wide. "I'm done, Emma." She blinked, looking confused for a second. Then she picked up the phone again, reading my comment aloud to her friends. "Guess I'm a 6 then. Thanks for the honesty." I could hear the panic in her voice as she realized I'd seen everything, that I knew what she'd said. And just like that, the mask was off. The comments started rolling in fast, too fast to keep up with. My phone buzzed with notifications, each one worse than the last. Some people were supportive, but most were mocking me, calling me everything from weak to pathetic. At first, it stung. But then it hit me. Emma had humiliated me, and now it was my turn to take control of how this played out. I took a screenshot of my updated relationship status and shared it to my story. Single in big, bold letters. No explanation, just a clean cut. The notifications flooded in even more. People were screenshotting my post, sharing it, commenting on it. A few of my friends messaged me, Ben, Will, even Ryan from my econ class. "Dude, I respect this so much," Ben texted. "You needed to do this." Another one, "Good for you, man." She was way out of line. I smiled to myself, knowing they had my back. For once, it felt like I was on the right side of things. For once, I wasn't the one getting burned. But Emma wasn't done yet. She called me. First one, I ignored. Then another. Then another. My phone kept lighting up with her name, and each time, I just let it go to voicemail. She didn't deserve a response. But the backlash? It only grew. People were tagging Emma in posts, bringing her sorority into it, calling them out for letting her get away with this kind of behavior. Her account was full of angry DMs, and I could see her friends starting to get involved, some of them messaging me, apologizing for her actions. I wasn't interested in their apologies. I wasn't interested in hearing any of them tell me how she didn't mean it, or she was just being playful. No, I was done. And honestly, for the first time in a long time, I felt like I had the upper hand. I watched as Emma's live stream kept gaining traction. People were picking up on the fact that she'd rated me like I was some random guy at the party. The comments on the video piled up. "What a b asterisk asterisk ch. What an asshole move. She's just insecure because you actually cared about her." It was brutal for her, but damn if it didn't feel good to see the tables turn. I had control now. It wasn't the kind of control I ever imagined I'd have. I wasn't some social media influencer or popular guy. But right then, I was in charge of my own narrative. I realized something. The internet can be a brutal place. It can tear people apart, but it can also be a tool to flip the script. People like Emma think they can use their social media to manipulate others, to build a brand around an image. But now, it was me who was in the spotlight, and I was taking full advantage. I posted a couple more things, just little jabs that kept the drama alive. It wasn't petty. It was just me taking control of the mess she made. I didn't need to apologize or explain myself to anyone. Emma had done that for me. The messages kept coming in, and honestly, I didn't care if they were mocking me or supporting me. For the first time in a long time, I felt seen. The next morning, my phone was buzzing before I even opened my eyes. I rolled over, squinting at the screen. 23 missed calls from Emma. That was the first thing that hit me. The second? The flood of texts from friends and random DMs from strangers. My notifications were going off like fireworks. I opened the messages from my friends first. "Bro, you're a legend," Will wrote. "Saw what happened. Respect. Emma's a joke." Ben's text was similar. "You good? That shit was brutal. but you handled it like a champ. I couldn't help but feel a little lighter reading their support, but I didn't have time to get caught up in it. Emma's calls were starting to piss me off. I ignored them, letting them go straight to voicemail. I didn't need to hear her apologies right now. Then came the DMs, mostly from people I didn't know, but a few familiar faces chimed in too. Dude, she's trash for that. You deserve so much better. Respect for you. I've always thought she was a little toxic. The best one was from someone I didn't even recognize. Can't believe she did you like that. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here. I couldn't tell if people were genuinely reaching out or if they were just hopping on the bandwagon. Either way, it felt good to have a little bit of attention for once. Real attention, not the kind Emma always seemed to get. But what really stood out was how quickly the internet took Emma's behavior and twisted it into a narrative. She was the villain in the story now. People were picking apart our entire relationship. I wasn't the only one calling her out. Her sorority sisters, the people who had always acted like they were on her side, were turning on her too. Mia, one of Emma's closest friends, called me around noon. Hey, Jake, it's Mia, she said, voice tense, like she was walking on eggshells. Listen, I just wanted to say we're all really sorry about what happened last night. Emma's really upset. Is there anything I can do to? I cut her off before she could finish. No, Mia, I don't want to hear it. There was a pause on the other end, then she sighed. Jake, we just want to smooth this over. Please, just. I could practically hear her wringing her hands. You can't smooth it over. You don't get to act like everything's fine now. She humiliated me in front of hundreds of people, and you want me to just let it go? Mia stammered, clearly caught off guard. I know, but no, Mia, I don't want to fix this. I'm done with her. And honestly, I'm done with you guys too. There was another long silence. Then she said, okay, I get it. Just know that if you change your mind. I didn't respond. I ended the call and tossed my phone on the bed. I was done playing along with Emma's little games. The sorority's panic was unfolding everywhere. People I didn't even know were sharing screenshots from Emma's live stream, dissecting her every move, calling her out. I'd never seen Emma get dragged this hard. She'd been the queen of the campus, always the center of attention, the one people gravitated toward. But now, her reputation was tanking. I checked her Instagram. She'd posted something, probably trying to control the narrative, but it was too little, too late. The comments were ruthless. This is what you get for messing with someone's self-esteem. It's crazy how you think you can publicly shame someone and get away with it. Even some of her friends were starting to drop off her posts. People weren't buying her excuses, and I found a twisted sense of peace in that. For once, I wasn't the one caught in her web. For once, I wasn't the one who had to defend myself against her lies. It felt like everything had flipped, and I had the upper hand. I could already see it. She'd always been the one with the power. But now, I was the one calling the shots. And I wasn't about to back down. A few hours after the chaos really kicked off, Emma posted a long, defensive message on Instagram. She said she was drunk and didn't mean what she said, that she was just having fun with friends and didn't realize how much it would hurt me. Typical. She was trying to spin it into this innocent thing, trying to shift the blame onto alcohol. I rolled my eyes. I could already hear the self-pity in her tone. Please forgive me, everyone, she probably thought. But it wasn't working. The comments on her post were savage. You can't blame it on being drunk when you've been talking shit about him for months. How about you own up to being a terrible person? Your apology means nothing. You embarrassed him on purpose. And then the DM started. A few of her sorority sisters were messaging me, trying to do damage control. Jessica was one of the first. Jake, I really hope you'll reconsider, she said. Look, I know what happened was bad, but maybe you could post something to calm things down. This is getting out of hand. I stared at her message for a moment. I thought about it. Maybe I could end it here. Maybe I could post some half-assed comment, say I wasn't that hurt, pretend like it was all just a misunderstanding. But then I remembered what Emma did. The way she dismissed me, humiliated me for no reason. She wasn't sorry. She was sorry it blew up in her face. I didn't reply to Jessica. Instead, I opened up the comments section of Emma's latest post again, watching the flood of negativity keep piling up. Her sorority sisters were rallying around her, trying to salvage her public image, but the damage was done. The more they tried to support her, the more people called them out for enabling her. At this point, the campus was turning against her. Everyone who had ever thought Emma was some kind of golden girl was now seeing her for who she really was. People who didn't even know me were messaging me, offering support, telling me they were glad I was finally standing up for myself. I couldn't help but feel a little detached from it all. Sure, it stung when she did what she did. But now, I wasn't feeling the anger or sadness anymore. I was just watching. I realized that Emma wasn't the first person to ever hurt me, but she was the first one who didn't get to walk away without consequences. As much as I didn't want to be a part of her drama anymore, I couldn't help but think this was what she wanted all along. Validation, the constant approval of others, even if it meant stepping on people to get it. This was the downfall of someone who lived for attention, and it wasn't my problem anymore. I looked out the window, watching people walk by on campus, each of them wrapped up in their own lives. And I felt nothing but relief. The worst part of all this was over. Emma's world was crashing down, and I wasn't the one holding the pieces anymore. She'd made her choice, and now so had I. As the hours passed, the drama kept growing. It was like the entire campus was watching Emma spiral, and more, I was just there. I'd posted my single update, shared a few jabs here and there, and now, people were actually reaching out to me. Not just my friends, women. It started with a message from Kayla, a girl I'd bumped into a few times at parties. She was cute, but I never thought much of it before. Hey, I saw what happened with Emma. That's messed up, but damn, respect for how you handled it. You good? I stared at the message, then smiled. Respect. People were respecting me now. Something shifted in me. I wasn't just the guy who got humiliated anymore. I was the guy who stood up for himself. Thanks, I'm doing fine, I replied. I'm over it. But yeah, it was a lot. Let me know if you want to hang out sometime. I'm free this weekend. It wasn't just Kayla either. Over the next couple of hours, my DMs blew up. Other girls I barely knew, started sending messages, some offering sympathy, others just impressed. I even got one from Jessica, Emma's friend, who I'd never really talked to much before. Damn, Jake, I honestly didn't think you'd do it. You've got more guts than I realized. I couldn't believe how fast everything had shifted. Just a few days ago, I was the guy Emma had been controlling, holding everything together while she was off living her best life. Now, I was the one people respected. It was a strange feeling, but I wasn't going to lie. It felt good. Emma had been the one who humiliated me, but somehow, this all flipped in my favor. I'd taken control, and for once, I wasn't the one picking up the pieces. I kept scrolling through the DMs, each message an affirmation. But as I did, I saw a post from Emma. She was still trying to salvage whatever image she had left, defending her actions, and asking everyone to understand the context. The comments were even worse than before. Context: you humiliated him, and now you're playing the victim? How many times are you going to say you're sorry and not actually mean it? She was drowning, and it was hard not to feel a little satisfaction in that. I had an idea. I opened Spotify, created a new playlist, and titled it, Thank You, Next. I added just one song, Thank You, Next by Ariana Grande. It was petty, it was on the nose, and it was exactly what I needed to do. I posted it to my story with a simple caption, To New Beginnings. I had no doubt Emma would see it. It was a public middle finger, but it felt liberating. It was the perfect way to close the door on everything I'd been through with her. I wasn't going to sit back and wallow in my humiliation. I was going to own it. And not just own it, capitalize on it. Emma had been controlling me for so long, and now, I had the chance to rewrite the script. I wasn't the guy who had to beg for attention or affection anymore. The notifications kept flooding in. Kayla was texting me again, this time asking if I wanted to grab coffee later that day. Another girl, Alexis, was asking if I'd seen a new movie she was dying to go to. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't second-guessing myself. I wasn't trying to get Emma's approval. I was enjoying this power, this freedom. I glanced at Emma's latest Instagram story. She was still talking about how misunderstood she was, but I could tell she was losing control fast. She was out of excuses, out of people to manipulate. Meanwhile, I was sitting here, having a quiet victory. Emma's reign over my life was over. It was my turn now. The next day, I got a message from Jessica, Emma's sorority sister. She hadn't reached out in a while, and something in the way she started the conversation told me this wasn't just a, how are you doing text. Hey Jake, she wrote. I need to talk to you about something. Can we chat? I didn't hesitate. I knew what this was about. It had to be. I replied, sure. What's up? Her response came a few minutes later, a little more urgent. Look, Emma's been getting a ton of hate, and it's starting to spill over onto the sorority. We're getting tagged in posts, and people are spreading things about us. I'm asking you, please, to take down anything where you've mentioned us or tagged us. I raised an eyebrow. She was asking me to delete posts that didn't even tag anyone. I hadn't even thought about tagging the sorority, but I also knew what she was really asking. She wanted me to help clean up the mess Emma had made. I thought about it for a second. No way was I backing down now. I didn't tag anyone, Jessica. I've been pretty careful about that. I typed back. But no, I'm not deleting anything. She needs to deal with the fallout. You guys can't keep cleaning up her mess. There was a long pause. Then her reply popped up. Jake, it's not just about the posts. Emma's behavior has become a serious liability for us. It's affecting the whole sorority, and we're worried about her future, her reputation. We're just trying to get ahead of it before it gets worse. I leaned back in my chair, considering what she'd said. I knew Emma's actions were going to hurt her, but hearing it from someone inside her circle, it was hard not to feel a little smug. But there was something else there, too. A part of me felt a little bad for Emma. She had gotten herself into a hole, and now everyone around her was scrambling to save face. She dug this hole herself, I typed, then hesitated. I mean, look, this is all on her. I'm not trying to make things worse for anyone else, but I'm not going to help her cover it up either. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. There was a long silence. Finally, Jessica replied, I get that. I really do. But this could affect her whole future, Jake. We're all just trying to figure out how to fix it. I read her message and exhaled slowly. Part of me wanted to feel bad. Part of me wanted to feel sorry for her, for the position she was in. But then I remembered everything. All the times Emma played me, all the ways she had used people, including me. She wasn't the victim here, and neither was I. I'm done, Jessica, I replied. I'm not her backup plan anymore. She made her choices, and now she has to face the consequences. I'm not going to protect her anymore. The message sat there for a few moments before she responded. Okay, I understand. I just hope you'll think about it. I didn't answer. It was pointless. Emma had made her choices long before any of this blew up, and I'd already made mine. There was nothing more to say. I sat back in my chair, looking at the screen. A small part of me wanted to feel sorry for Emma. But as the text conversation with Jessica faded into the background, I couldn't bring myself to care. Emma's choices had put her in this position. She could try to clean it up all she wanted, but the truth was, her actions had already caught up with her. She had built her whole world on manipulation and control, and now it was crumbling. The satisfaction I felt wasn't just about the attention or the support I was getting. It was about being free. Finally free. No more excuses. No more wondering if I was good enough for her. I was done with the drama. And Emma? She was just going to have to figure out how to deal with the mess she'd made on her own. I hadn't expected to see her again, at least not like this. But there she was, standing at the door of my dorm, her face pale, eyes red like she hadn't slept in days. Emma, I need to talk to you, she said, her voice shaky. I just stood there for a second, not saying anything. I'd been bracing myself for this. But seeing her this way, this small, almost broken version of herself, still caught me off guard. She started speaking before I could even say anything. Jake, I'm so sorry. I was drunk, and I didn't mean what I said. I swear, I never wanted to hurt you. I let out a breath, pushing my hands into my pockets. No, you meant it. Her eyes flashed with panic, and she stepped forward. No, you don't understand. I was out of control. It was a stupid thing to do. Please just listen to me. I need you. I took a step back, holding up my hand. Don't do this, Emma. You made your choice. I'm done listening. She shook her head, desperation bleeding through every word. Jake, we can fix this. I'll change. I'll do whatever it takes. I can't lose you. Her voice cracked. I don't know what I was thinking. I crossed my arms, looking at her. You were thinking about yourself? You always do. You think I'm just going to forgive you because you're sorry now? That's not how this works. She took another step closer, her eyes filling with tears. I was stupid, okay? But I swear, I didn't mean any of it. It's just, I didn't realize how much you meant to me until I saw everything explode. No. I cut her off, my voice firmer this time. You didn't realize because you didn't care. Not until it blew up in your face. She stopped, the weight of my words sinking in. Her chest heaved, and I saw the anger flare up in her eyes. So that's it, huh? She spat. You're just done with me over a stupid mistake? It's not a stupid mistake, Emma. It's who you are. Her face twisted, and the tears started to fall. But now they felt more like a performance than anything real. You're just going to throw everything away because of one thing I said? I didn't mean it. Jake, why are you being so petty? I clenched my jaw. I'm not being petty. I'm being real with myself for once. You don't get to humiliate me, make me feel like I'm not enough, and then expect me to just take you back because you're sorry now. You don't get to rewrite what you did. Her eyes flared with anger. You think you're better than me now? You think you can just walk away like you're some victim? You've ruined everything. You're the one who's acting like a child. I stood my ground, feeling a calm certainty wash over me. I'm not the one ruining things. You've shown me who you are, Emma, and you're exactly that person. That's why we're done. She opened her mouth to say something else, but I didn't want to hear it. I didn't need to hear it. I walked over to the door, opened it wide, and looked at her one last time. Goodbye, Emma. She stood there for a second, eyes wide, as if waiting for me to back down. When I didn't, she turned away, her shoulders shaking as she walked down the hall. I closed the door behind me, standing there for a long moment, just breathing. It wasn't relief yet, but it was the beginning of it. I wasn't caught in her mess anymore. I wasn't waiting for her approval or apologizing for things I didn't deserve. I was free. It didn't take long for Emma's world to start falling apart. Her social media presence, once this polished, curated version of herself, was slowly sinking into oblivion. Her posts, which had once racked up hundreds of likes and comments, now sat mostly ignored or filled with backlash. Her followers started dropping, and the hate messages piled up. Her TikTok account was suspended for violating community guidelines, though I'm sure it had more to do with the overwhelming public backlash than anything she actually did. Meanwhile, I was out of the firestorm. I was getting more invitations to parties. People wanted to hang out with me now. I wasn't the guy who'd let Emma walk all over him anymore. I was the guy who'd taken control, and it felt good. It felt like I'd earned a little respect for once. That was when Sarah reached out. She was in my bio class, smart, quiet, and always sitting at the back of the room. We'd exchanged a few words in class, but nothing more. "Hey Jake," her message read. "I don't know if you're still dealing with all the drama, but I just wanted to say I think you handled it really well. Seriously, I can't believe Emma thought she could get away with that." I blinked, rereading the message a few times. I hadn't expected it to be from her, but something about it felt different. She wasn't reaching out because she felt sorry for me. She was actually admiring what I did. "Thanks, Sarah," I typed back. "It's been a mess, but it's over now. Feels like I've been able to breathe again." Her response came quickly. "I bet. Honestly, I think it's kind of funny. The way she handled everything was ridiculous, but I love how you just shut it all down." We started texting more frequently after that. A few days later, we grabbed coffee at this little place off campus. She was easy to talk to, genuine, smart, not trying to impress anyone. And the way she laughed at my stupid jokes, it felt like I was finally talking to someone who didn't see me as a stepping stone in their own drama. "Honestly," Sarah said as we sat down with our drinks, "I'm kind of impressed. I don't know if I could have been that calm about everything. I mean, that level of public humiliation." She grinned. "You handled it like a pro." I smiled back, feeling more relaxed than I had in weeks. I guess it just came down to not letting her control the narrative anymore. She had me wrapped around her finger for so long, but I'm not going back to that. She nodded, her eyes thoughtful. "You didn't let her pull that shit on you, and that's rare. You're better off, honestly." It felt good to hear someone else say it. Someone who had no skin in the game. Someone who just saw it for what it was. I wasn't the guy stuck in a toxic relationship anymore. I wasn't the guy Emma used to keep around because I was always trying to earn her approval. I was Jake, the guy who finally stood up for himself. We started hanging out more coffee dates, casual dinners. It wasn't anything serious, not yet, but there was something about being with someone who saw me as I really was, not some accessory to a bigger drama. And the more time I spent with Sarah, the more I realized something. I wasn't just moving on from Emma, I was moving forward. I wasn't stuck in the past, replaying the hurt, wondering if things could have been different. I was out of that mess, and I was starting to see what it felt like to be around someone who valued me for who I truly was. Not for the image I projected or the version of myself I let Emma control. The more I saw Emma's downfall, the clearer it became. I was the one who came out ahead. She had everything and threw it all away for the sake of validation. Meanwhile, I had nothing but myself, and that was enough. Sarah was a reminder of that. I wasn't the one chasing approval anymore. I was done with that. And for the first time in a long time, it felt like I was the one writing my own story. It had been 6 months, and I hadn't thought much about Emma. Life had moved on. I was happier now, healthier, too. Sarah and I had been spending more time together, laughing more, and not once did I think back to the mess Emma left behind. But then, I ran into her at the campus library. She was sitting alone at a table, hunched over a pile of textbooks, her face gaunt, eyes hollow. It was like seeing a ghost. The confident, self-assured Emma I once knew was gone. In her place was someone who looked defeated, worn down by the weight of her own choices. She didn't see me at first, but when I walked past her, she glanced up, and our eyes locked. The recognition hit her instantly. Her face flushed, and for a moment, she looked like she wanted to run. But instead, she stood up. "Jake." Her voice was soft, almost hesitant. I didn't say anything right away. I just let the silence sit there between us, letting her fumble for the right words. Finally, she took a deep breath and said, "I've been thinking about you a lot. About everything. I know I messed up, and I'm sorry, okay? I didn't mean what I said. I didn't mean to hurt you." I stared at her for a beat, letting the weight of what she had done settle in. I could feel the old frustration bubbling up, but I wasn't that guy anymore. The one who would let her manipulate him, let her off the hook with an apology. "You humiliated me, Emma. In front of everyone," I said, my voice steady but firm. "You didn't care. Not then. Not when you said it. And you sure as hell didn't care when you did it publicly. You can't unsay those things." Her shoulders slumped, and she bit her lip, as if realizing for the first time how deep she'd cut. "I know. I was wrong. I should have never done that." Her voice cracked. "I was stupid, and I didn't realize how much it would hurt you until everything blew up." I shook my head, keeping my distance. "You were wrong, and you've always been about getting what you wanted, no matter who you hurt. I'm not your backup plan anymore, Emma." She looked down at the table for a moment, then back at me, her eyes red and tired. "I've changed, Jake. I swear. I want a chance to make it right. I didn't need her to change. I didn't need her at all. I'm with someone else now, I said, my words final. Someone who actually sees me for who I am, not as some placeholder or project. Emma blinked, her face crumpling like she couldn't believe what she was hearing. She took a step back, her mouth opening and closing as if she was trying to find the words. But she didn't have any. I'm sorry, she whispered, almost to herself. I messed up. I get it now. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. Without saying another word, I turned to leave. As I walked away, I felt something heavy lift off my chest. For the first time, I wasn't angry. I wasn't hurt. I was just relieved. Emma had made her choices. She couldn't rewrite the past, no matter how hard she tried. I stepped out of the library, my phone buzzing in my pocket. I pulled it out and smiled at the screen. It was a message from Sarah. How's your day going? Want to grab dinner later? I typed back quickly. You, me, dinner. I'll pick you up at 7. And for the first time, I felt completely at peace. Emma was behind me now, and I was moving forward with someone who saw me for who I truly was.